Hi everyone, I'm Carol Keller, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Antioch, Illinois in the US, and I am here today to share probably my most favorite suite from the January to June mini catalog that started just a week or so ago, a little over a week ago, or I guess a week ago. I apologize for not being here last week. It was my birthday, and so I was relaxing and getting a massage actually during what would have been my lifetime. So I decided to do a little self-care, a little pampering. But I did want to show you too, behind me, which way do I go? This way. There are some cards, that way, that I received in the mail that people made for me. And that's just really special to me, so I wanted to share that a little bit too. But I will turn my camera around so that we can get started. I have been working with this, let me pull out the catalog, this New Horizons suite with some of the items in here over the past few days, especially the paper, which I'm going to show you, and the stamp set and the ribbon. I haven't used the dies yet. I think we're going to do another project next week with those because I'm really itching to get started and work with them, but I have not yet. So I've been so busy playing mostly with the paper and the stamps, like I said. So let me move that aside and let me show you the beautiful paper because, oh my goodness, it is gorgeous. All landscape kind of feeling to each of them. I love this. I love the colors. And I can't tell if it looks like mountains or maybe even almost houses. And the ones with the water, really beautiful. I love this too with the flowers. So all sorts of, that's almost all of them. I think that's 10 out of the 12 designs. And you get 4 of each in the pack, so that's great. You can make multiples. So this is the card that I was working on over the weekend, and I did a few variations. I was at an event at my church. We had a crop this weekend, and I wanted to do a make and take for the people who came. So actually the make and take, because I can't do stamping for people because that's against the angel policy, Stampin' Up's angel policy. So they got the 3 little pieces of paper that I punched from the pattern paper and the card base and then this soft succulent layer, and they just put those together. Oh, and ribbon for the background. So I added, let me put this one up here too, I added either the little loop or a bow and the bling, and then I stamped also. So that's what I added after the fact. So just to show you, that was just to start, but I liked the idea of doing this sort of, I think it's called a triptych, when you have the 3 that sort of, it's the same scene that's just broken apart a little bit, and I really liked that. So that's what I did for the ladies this weekend. And then when I was searching for other ideas, I saw this one, which was Sue Moore, who's another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. This was her card. And I changed it just a little bit. She had done it portrait, I did it landscape, but it was the same piece of paper, and she had stamped the images, the trees and the birds, and this one, and then she used the relax sentiment. So I just used the thinking of you instead. But that kind of sparked another idea. So this one I actually got from the catalog. Let me show it again. So this was the one in the catalog, and I thought, oh, that was pretty too, to do it sort of offset, that the 3 panels were different sizes, and again stamping on it like Sue did, because I thought that was pretty cool. So this is the card I'm actually going to make for you today. Here is the stamp set. So again, it's got the little grass, you probably can hardly see because it blends in, and the trees and the birds, and then several sentiments. And then this I haven't used yet, but I believe there's a die that cuts it out. It looks like kind of a stack of wood. So very, very pretty stamp set. So to start, I've got my usual basic white, card base, which is already scored in the middle. Grab my bone folder. And then I've already cut a layer of soft succulent to the same size as the card front. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, or if you're in metric, 10.5 by 14.9. And we're going to put that on right away with some multi-purpose liquid glue. All right, and we'll put that on the front. Line it right up and slide it into place. And I will say I have found with the basic white, since Stampin' Up! Changed from the Whisper White to the basic white cardstock, sometimes I find that it's a smidge bigger. So I did cut this one down. I cut off maybe a 1/16 of an inch or something like that because it was just a little too big. So keep that in mind too. And then here is the piece of pattern paper that I used for this. So we've got to cut that down to fit the card front. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And I just cut off, it's 4 inches to make a little bit of, to leave a little bit of a border. So I'm going to cut it at 4 inches this way. And this one, I think I did it, I cut off this end. So I did it at 5 inches because I knew I was going to have spaces in between, but I think I'm going to do it even a little bit, maybe 5 1/8, make it just a little tiny bit longer. And then we're going to stamp before we cut it apart. So I've got the tree stamp from the set. We'll start with that. And I'm using Evening Evergreen. So I love that idea of kind of extending. It looks like this is flat and then we add the trees in the background. At least that's kind of the way I thought of it. So we'll do one, and I'm going to try to move it down a little bit because I want it, yes, right at the top. Perfect. And then for this side, I did the same thing again, but then I did it, moved it over just a little bit and stamped off. And then I think I might have even done it a 3rd time, like that. So it looks like there are more trees there. And then we're going to do the same thing on the inside of the card, like that. And that is it for our Evening Evergreen. I will take Garden Green. That's what I used for the little grass section because I felt it blended in and just gave that little subtle bit more. So we'll do that down here. And I also did it on the front of the envelope. Here we go. So we'll do it here as well. Because, you know, we can't have any naked envelopes. And then the Garden Green I also used on the inside. I put, outside is Relax and Enjoy Your Day, and inside I put Thinking of You. So we'll stamp that on the inside of the card. So we're almost done with our stamping. Make sure that's inked up. And then, so the inside is done. And then the only other thing we have to add is the birds. Oh, and the sentiment, that's right, the Relax and Enjoy Your Day. And I used Garden Green for that too. So before I close it up, I think this is going to need some re-inking here soon. Now we're done with the Garden Green. And we're going to grab the basic gray for the birds. Could use black, but I just decided to use the basic gray instead of the Memento black. Either one will work. Make sure we've got them right side up. And that now is all of our stamping. I'm going to leave the sentiment aside for the moment, and we're going to cut this apart. So I'm going to bring my trimmer back in. And I think I did 2.5 for the first cut. So about half, a tiny bit less than half of the whole piece. And then I think I did 1 inch this way. Maybe I'll do 1 1/8 inches since I added that extra 1/8. And so see, that's how it all lines up. I love it. And so now we'll just lay this, all of these, on here. And you want to lay it out before you actually glue it down. Because yeah, this one is less, has less of a border than the top and bottom. So I think about like that is good. So I think I'll just go left to right. Let me grab my stamp and seal. I'm just going to lay it here and not press it in till I have that third one down. Whoops. Make sure that the spacing is good. So this is a little trickier when you have three like that. And it's hard doing this on camera. So my head needs to be over it to make sure it's straight. I think that middle one needs to come up just a smidge. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. So there we have our panels. And now I'm going to grab my tailored tag punch and we'll punch out the sentiment. Just kind of center it on there. Maybe over this way a little bit. And then I punched out, this is in Calypso Coral with, again, the Garden Green. And I'm going to punch another one in Pale Papaya. And you can use your trimmer to cut it, but I think I'm just going to grab my scissors. And I put a little bit of Stamp and Seal on the back of the main part of the tag. And we'll just create that nice border. And the same thing with the bottom one. And then on the back, I'm using some dimensionals to give it a little bit more interest. And so I put a couple, one at each end to sort of hold everything together. And then in the opposite corners, take off the backings. There we go. And put it there. And so then last but not least, we're adding some bling. These gorgeous iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. I love these. That's what I used on the other cards, the first ones I showed you, as well as on this one. So, and on this I just used one of each size. So I think I'll use a big and a small this time here instead of a big and a medium like I did on the other one. And we'll put the medium one down here. And there we have it. There is our card for today. I hope you like it. I love, love, love this paper. And if you purchase the bundle, which is the stamp set and the dies, that qualifies you for a free celebration item. And if you purchase the stamp set, the ribbon, which I used on the other cards, this ribbon is part of the cotton ribbon set. It's this and then the same thing with Pale Papaya. So if you purchase the stamp set, the paper, the ribbon, and there's bling with this too, then that would qualify also for a free celebration item. Favorite time of year when we can earn free stuff. So thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you again next week when, like I said, I will be using the same stamp set, but we'll use the dies as well. There's a beautiful little gate, and I really am excited to use the rest of the products from the suite. So I will see you again soon, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.